All right, we're on the record. Mr. Chenier, can you unmute, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Chenier?
Your Honor.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Azevedo, can you unmute, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Azevedo, you sued Mr. Chenier
That's correct.
for, it looks like a security deposit and damages. First off, Mr. Azevedo, I note that the returns of service here look like a law firm is involved in this. Are you a lawyer?
I am not.
Okay. I have a counterclaim filed by Mr. Chenier. Mr. Azevedo, did you get any notice of the counterclaim?
I have not.
Mr. Chenier, did you serve Mr. Azevedo with the counterclaim?
No, Your Honor. I have mailed it to Mr. Azevedo by certified mail, and it still has not been delivered to his address. The address that was listed on his court claim was not his home address, so I had to do some research in dealing with the local Longview Police Department to get his actual address. And I have mailed it to him there, and it's still not been delivered or returned to me with a signature.
When did you mail it?
On May 18th of 2022.
All right, well, that was just a week ago.
Yes, I wasn't served with my papers until the 15th. And so I was unaware that this was happening until then. It didn't give me a lot of time to get the countersuit filed.
All right,
Can I say something?
sure.
His claim is untrue. I made multiple attempts to tell him what I was going to do.
Wait,
Prior to.
just a minute. What's untrue? That he didn't know it was coming?
Right.
All right, well, it's come. So what's the relevance?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So is it your intent to proceed with the counterclaim, Mr. Chenier?
Yes, sir. It is my intent to proceed.
Okay, so what we're going to, and you paid a filing fee for the counterclaim, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to reset this. And in order to reset it, Mr. Chenier, you're going to have to file what's called an amended counterclaim. And I'm going to give you a deadline to do that. And the reason you have to file an amended counterclaim is because the date set for the pretrial is based on Mr. Azevedo's filing. And on his filing, the date you were told to be here was today. If you file an amended counterclaim, there will be no date to appear unless it's on the amended counterclaim, okay? And so the deadline for you filing an amended counterclaim is a week from today. Actually, we have a holiday in between. So I'm going to give you until June 3rd to file your amended counterclaim. Okay, and Mr. Azevedo, what that will do is that will put you on notice of what he's claiming. And I can more or less tell you the details will be on the document itself. He may change that or he may not. But I'm just looking at this amended counterclaim. And it basically claims unpaid rent, damage to the floor, and other damage to different rooms. So that's just a summary of the things that he's claiming. He's claiming some damages and some unpaid rent. But between now and the time he files, that may change. I don't know. But the point here is that you have a right to know what exactly it is that he's claiming. So when he files the amended counterclaim, on that amended counterclaim, there'll be a new date for both of you to proceed to come to trial and or to come to this pretrial hearing. Madam Clerk, okay, never mind. I just would like you to calendar it for a review to see that he's filed the amended complaint. Because if he hasn't filed the amended complaint, we're going to have to set a date for the trial on the main claim. So why don't we put it on? Let's put it on for June 29th at 11 o'clock. I'm going to set it for the 29th of June at 11, and that's Mr. Chenier and Mr. Azevedo, just to see that the amended counterclaim has been filed. When the amended counterclaim is filed, as I said, Mr. Chenier, a date will be on that document for you to come for a, well, let me ask the clerk this, it's a bit involved. If he files the amended complaint by June 3rd, can we just set the 29th at 11 for pretrial? Well, let's do it that way. Okay, so, but the clerk who accepts the amended counterclaim needs to know.
I will make a note.
Okay.
Very clear note.
Okay. So the way it's going to work then is instead of setting 2 dates, I'll only set 1 day. And that date will be June 29th at 11 o'clock. Does that work for you, Mr. Azevedo?
Yeah, as long as he serves me personally, I'm fine with that.
Well, I'm not in charge of service.
Okay.
If you, the easy way is to accept service. If you don't want to accept service, then it's up to him to serve you, and I'll decide
Correct.
whether you've been served personally or what notice you've had of this. And
Okay.
Mr. Chenier, it's up to you to get him served in the appropriate way. Do you understand?
Your Honor, on that note, since Mr. Azevedo is he's the travel nurse and doesn't really live in one location often, is mailing certified mail to his personal address acceptable, or to the address of his attorney? What's the best way for me, or do I need to do a publication?
Well, first of all, Mr. Azevedo, are you not willing to accept service?
I mean, I'm willing to accept service as long as he does it correctly.
Are you willing to tell him what your address is?
He's sending it to a work address.
Are you willing to tell him what your address is, sir? Your person, your home, where you get your person?
I'm not going to tell him my address. I don't feel comfortable doing that.
Okay, then if he prevails on his suit and he asks for costs of service and he has to chase you down by hiring a process server or by jumping through some hoops to serve you, you're
Right.
exposing yourself to those costs. Do you understand that?
I do understand that.
And do you also understand that?
And we also had to do the same thing. So
Okay, do you also understand that you now know about this case? You now know about his counterclaim? Because
I know nothing about his counterclaim except for what you said. I have
that's
nothing
exactly
in
right.
writing.
What you know is what I said. So you've been put
Right.
on notice, okay? And he still nonetheless needs to properly serve you.
Correct.
And Mr. Chenier, I can't give you advice on how to serve him. You can look at the rules about how to serve him or contact a lawyer about service. And
Yes,
you
Your Honor,
could-
I did read that if I needed to do it by publication, that I would need a court order on that. Would I have your permission to service in that manner?
I'm not going to give you any kind of permission orally. You need to approach, you need to write a letter to the court
Okay.
asking about service, but it strikes me that you don't need to, I can't give you advice about how to do it, but it sounds like you've gone about it in the way according